Advaram Bharyaya Vedmahe Jnanalingeshwaraya Dhimahi Tanno Guruh Prachodayate Om Yoga Maharishi Dr. Swami Gitananda Giri Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. Welcome back to another Saturday morning for our Scintillating Saturdays. We are now coming into the level where we have hit our the first dozen of these sessions. And we have been looking at the concept of the hasta mudras, the gestures that are done using the hands. Our hands are an extension of the heart which is the anahata, that which connects us to something which is causeless, something that is eternal, something that has no beginning and no end. Such a beautiful concept that we are connecting when we connect to our heart center, and the hands enable us to connect in a very beautiful way. Each hand having a whole representation of the human being, the whole human spine, the bowels, the bladder, the kidneys, the intestine, each represented by reflexogenic points on each palm. And when we bring these palms together, when we bring the fingers together, you remember we talked about the fire, the water, the earth, the ether, and the air, and how when we bring the fingers together, what are we doing? Bringing the different elements together. And each of the elements, the Pancha Mahabhutas, Prithvi, Up, Tejas, Vayu, Akash, each one of them connected to our sensory apparatus. The sense of smell with the Mooladhara, the sense of taste with the Swadhisthana and the water element, the sense of being able to see, perception, sight through the Manipura, the light that enables us to have sight, and the feeling, that feeling of touch, sparshana, sparidam, as is often called. And there's a type of diksha called sparsha diksha. You know, this heart center is where that connection of being able to feel, both metaphorically and physically. And that is why the hands are such an important tool for us to feel our way through life. We feel our way through life using the hands. The hands are such an important part of communication, non-verbal communication, expressing so many emotions that come through the hands, the Vayu. And of course, at the throat center, the Vishuddha, we have the connection with the Akash, the ethereal aspects of the universe. So, each of the Mahabhutas, the five Mahabhutas, are connected to the five senses. The Jnanendriyas that bring the input in, the Karmendriyas that through the process of action give us a sense of the action. And this beautiful experience that we are having of the subtle elements, the Tanmatras. So when we do the mudra, it is not just bringing two fingers together, but in fact, you are bringing the elements together. You are bringing the senses together. You are bringing the subtle aspects together. Now these hands, kara is the hand. Kara is also to do. So they are very important tools of doing. Can you do with heart? Can you do with heart? Or is it just being done up here with what will I get? Because the heart is all about what will I give. You know, the heart is constantly pumping. Systole, diastole, systole, diastole, systole, diastole. The heart is constantly pumping. And you know what? The heart is constantly pumping and supplying the whole body. Such a beautiful giver. The heart, even the physical heart, the four-chambered physical heart teaches us the importance of giving, Because as you give, you receive. And as you receive, you give. This beautiful cycle, that's why we call it a cardiac cycle. Systole, diastole, systole, diastole, systole, diastole. Cardiac cycle is giving and receiving, giving and receiving, and giving and receiving. And the heart, when it is pumping to the whole body, systole, it is not supplying itself. It is only when it relaxes, it is receiving in diastole. It is only in the diastole phase, the relaxation phase of the cardiac cycle, that the heart muscles actually get supplied. Which is another message for us that, sometimes take your foot off the accelerator and give some time for yourself. I think that is what COVID is teaching us. Give some time for yourself. Stop focusing on just doing all the time and let there be a bit of being. The doing, being, doing, being, doing, being. And we have focused too much on doing. Let us also focus on being. And that beautiful connection that comes. So today, I wanted to share with you a very beautiful practice which goes back many, many years in my memory. And as a young kid, I must have been 9 or 10, I remember that the great filmmaker Rajiv Mehrotra and his beautiful wife, Meenakshi ji, they both came down to Pondicherry and they were shooting a short film on mudras. And so to be part of this film they were making on mudras. It is on the net. You type mudras, Rajiv Mehrotra, and the film will come up. It's an old film made in the 80s. And you find Swamiji and me. I'm a very small kid there. I'm still a small kid. But what we are doing is this Surya Prana Mudra. And I shared an image of it yesterday and this morning again. The Surya Prana Mudra goes back to my memory so much, and I had a beautiful time when we were doing this as part of my mudras DVDs, shooting for the Surya Prana Mudra. I think so many times when Swamiji would take us to the beach, the early morning on the beaches, for many kids, well, for many people, it was the first time they saw a sunrise in their lifetime. Because people had not been to the beach to see a sunrise till Swamiji took them there. And doing the Surya Namaskar as sun rises, doing the Surya Prana Mudra. And this we included in the updated Mudras book, Swamiji's Mudras book, which I updated, 7-8 years ago. Surya Prana Mudra, 3 words there. Surya is the sun, Prana is the life force, Mudra is a gesture. So what we are doing is that we are making a gesture to become aware and become a recipient of the life-giving energies coming off the sun. And our sun, Surya, is one of 12 suns in the universe. That is why we have the 12 names of the sun. And we have the beautiful names. Om Mitraya Namaha, Om Rabaye Namaha, Om Suryaya Namaha, Om Barnabhe Namaha, Om Khagaya Namaha, Om Purna Namaha, Om Hiranyagarbhaya Namaha, Om Marichaye Namaha, Om Adityaye Namaha, Om Savitri Namaha, Om Arkaya Namaha, Om Bhashkaraya Namaha, Om. The 12 names of the sun, 12 qualities, 12 names. And what happens is that we open up to these qualities, we open up to these energies that are manifesting by the sun, which is the center of our solar system, And I cannot stress it enough that we are a solar being in a solar system, and our solar plexus is the Manipura chakra, the Nabi chakra, as Patanjali calls it, Nabi chakra. This Nabi chakra, the Manipura, is our solar connection as a solar being to the solar system, having the sun as the solar energy source. Now, when you want to absorb these energies, we know that through the skin we can absorb the solar energies, the sun energies, and this is very vital for the production of vitamin D, cholecalciferol, in our system. That is important in lipid metabolism, the fat metabolism that is so important in our nervous system. Your nervous system needs the fats for the myelination of the nerves so that the conduction of the impulses will be as fast as it is meant to be. We need the fat, but we need the good fat. And that is where the vitamin D, which is a fat-soluble vitamin, it is so essential. And how is it produced? Through the skin. And for that, what does the skin need? It needs the sunlight. Now, when we say sunlight, we are talking about the early morning light, which has the Usha Prana, the Usha Shakti, a very specific energy that is not there in the sunlight the rest of the day. And this is why these practices are meant to be done in the morning facing the rising sun, not the setting sun. The morning rising sun is where the auspiciousness is. The auspiciousness lies in Surya Udaya, Suryodayam. Suryodayam. That is where the auspiciousness lies, as the sun is rising, the rising of the sun. That is what you want, not the setting of the sun. Setting of the sun, rising of the sun, rising of the sun. That is where you are going up. You want that upliftment of the solar energy, not when the sun is going down to rest. And of course, doing Surya Namaskar late night in an air-conditioned, glass-walled yoga studio on the 33rd floor in Manhattan, it's definitely a physical exercise, not Surya Namaskar at all. Again, noonday sun, that is a different danger. Noonday sun is a bit dangerous. So don't say, oh, Dr. Ananda said sun is good for me, I'll go out at noonday and start doing Surya Namaskar. You will kill yourself of heat stroke, heat exhaustion. And in fact, that type of sun is dangerous because many of the dormant microorganisms get activated by such heat. So the early morning sun, which has the prana shakti, that is the sun that you are propitiating. And in this practice, the hands are brought together in the namaskar mudra at the heart. You remember I said we want to connect the heart. We want to connect the heart and open the heart up to this beautiful energy so that every bit of blood that is pumped through your physical heart and every bit of the vyana, which is the circulatory energy of prana, every bit you want it to be charged and surcharged with the dynamic energy of the early morning sun. So the heart center is where we start. And then we stretch our hands forward with the fingers. They have palms are open, the thumbs are touching, so that you are creating a beautiful frame for your face, as you can see now with my face. You want to create this beautiful frame as you look at the sun. So you may have to adjust it a bit as you look at the sun, and the sun should be seen in the center of this. That is why it is called Surya Prana Mudra, where you focus on the sun through this. And as you are focusing on the sun through this, the solar energies are hitting the palm of your hand, the palmar surfaces of your hand. And remember, the whole body nervous system is represented on your palms. So as you breathe in, you are stretching forward. And as you breathe out, you are coming back. So this is the basic movement of the Surya Prana Mudra, is that the breathing in is you're moving forward, focusing on the sun. Breathing out, you're bringing the hands back and bringing them back to the heart center. So here, it is like you're accepting the sun rays, bringing it back. Here you're opening up to the sun rays. Here you're accepting the sun rays and bringing it back. This is the opening up and this is the receiving. This is the opening up and this is the receiving, where you are opening up to this beautiful energy and you're receiving it to your heart. You're taking it to heart. Bringing that energy in so that when the heart pumps, the heart is pumping into those countless blood vessels, which are the physical correlate of nadis carrying that prana called vyana. Vyana, which goes throughout the body. Vyana sarva shariragaha, throughout the whole sharira, the whole body, energizing every nook and corner of your body, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, through this beautiful energy of the solar, that sun. Now this solar energy is life-giving, life-sustaining, healing, and that is why you want to bring this energy in. Okay, so what we do is that we breathe in, stretch out, breathe out, come back in. So when you stretch, keep your elbows as straight as possible and then bringing them back. So stretching out, coming back in. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay? So the basic movement. So let's do a few rounds of this just to get a hang of it. Okay? So join me. Hands at the chest, the heart center. Okay? Breathing out. Breathing in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathing out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? So this is the basic movement. Breathing in, stretching out, opening up to that solar energy. Breathing out, coming back. When you breathe out, you are coming back. You are coming back within yourself. When you're breathing in, you're going away. When you're breathing out, you are coming back. And the outward journey, the inward journey. And so that those energies are becoming part of you. You are accepting with grace, humility, respect and gratitude those energies. So this is the basic movement. Now, when we talk about the sun, one of the most important aspects of the sun is an energy called Savitri. And this Savitri is related to the energy called Savitri or Gayatri. And this is why the traditional Gayatri mantra has Tat Savitur Varenyam as part of it. That Savitri is what we want to invoke. So, adding the Savitri Pranayama breathing pattern to this Surya Prana Mudra is now connecting the physical movement with the breathing, which is again a healing, regenerative, recuperative practice of Savitri, which is a physiological pranayama with those gaps between inhalation and exhalation. And you are now connecting to that energy of the solar power called Savitri or Savitri. Such a beautiful aspect that is part of it. Okay? So what we do is we do a count. Let us do the count of 8, 4. Okay? Breathing out. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, hold, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, hold, 2, 3, 4. So you are including the Savitri pranayama with this. So you are having that space where you are accepting the solar energy, and you have the space where that solar energy is given time to become part of you. Okay, so you are stretching out, reaching out to the sun, accepting the solar energy, bringing it into yourself, and digesting and assimilating that energy. Beautiful concepts that go with it. Now, this could be elaborated, and in fact, Swamiji tells us that you could start with a 6-3, make it 8-4, 10-5, 12-6, 16-8, and as you are doing that, what you are doing is you're expanding the Surya Prana Mudra, where it becomes Savitri Mudra. Savitri Mudra, it starts to change because the Savitri energy is becoming more dominant and the Savitri is becoming more prominent in the practice. Now, this can also be done with the mantra chanting. And so, as you chant for each of the rounds in your mind, you could have Om Mitraya Namaha, Om Mitraya Namaha, Om Mitraya Namaha, Om Mitraya Namaha, where 4 times you would repeat each of the Bija mantras. The second option is there are 12 mantras. So the 12 mantras, if you do 4 mantras for each cycle, in 3 rounds of it, you will get the 12 mantras done. Another sequence. Now, one is you could do it with the externalized chanting, which I'm doing so that you can hear me. Or you could do it with the internalized chanting, which means you could have the breathing also. But when you do it this way, what will happen is you will not be doing the Savitri pranayama, Sukha Purvaka pranayama rhythm, which will be equal in, held, out and held. So there will be an equal count coming into it because you want to give equal time for the mantra. So for example, mentally you would be chanting, I am chanting it audibly so you can hear me. Om Mitraya Namaha, Om Ravaye Namaha, Om Suryaya Namaha, Om Bhanave Namaha, Om Kagaya Namaha, Om Pushne Namaha, Om Hiranyagarbhaya Namaha, Om Marichaye Namaha, Om Adityaye Namaha, Om Savitri Namaha, Om Arkaya Namaha, Om Bhaskara Namaha, Om. So what I have done here is the 12 names split into 4 for each round as you are doing the movement. So you could do one of the chants and then you do 12 rounds or 3 rounds with this. Different ways you can do it depending on how you want to approach that Surya, that sun energy, that solar energy. Another concept that can come into here is the concept of using the Gayatri mantra itself, where you would include Om Bhuvasva Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayate Om Bhuvasva Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayate Om Bhuvasva Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayate. Now this chanting could be done externalized. It could be done internalized as you do it. Because the beautiful energy of that solar energy, which is part and parcel of our life, we would not be alive if it were not for the solar energy. And this is where these are practices that came in the Indian culture as a means for us to express, as a means for us to express our gratitude, our reverence, our respect for the universal energies. These higher universal energies that the sun is a visible representation of. Even if you don't believe in God, it is easy to understand there is some energy that is higher than us human beings. There is something bigger than us. Whatever you call it light, you call it energy, you call it consciousness, you call it space. It depends on what you call it. The sun is the most visible symbol of that highest nature, that highest consciousness, that Purusha, that God, whatever you want to call it. The sun is such a beautiful example of it, that when you express your gratitude, you're opening up to it. You're opening up to these beautiful energies. Such beautiful energies. And this is why when we do the Surya Prana Mudra, you are performing an action using the hands connected to the heart. You are doing it with a sense of breathing. When you breathe, your physical body and the mind, the Annamaya and the Pranamaya, the Manomaya are connected. They are integrated through the Pranamaya. Annamaya, Manomaya, integrated through Pranamaya. So whenever you are doing a movement physically, in tune with the breathing and mindfully. 3 components: movement, breathing, mindfulness. Movement, breathing, mindfulness. And in case you didn't hear me, movement, breathing, and mindfulness. When this happens, what we are doing is that we are connecting Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha. And that is the most important part we need to work on. Because the Anandamaya and the Vijnanamaya, they are much more universal bodies. Swamiji used to say that, thank God, the Vijnanamaya and Anandamaya are so much more universal, you cannot mess them up too badly. But the first 3, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, are more individualistic, and so we end up messing it up much more. And that is why when we talk about Nara or psychic disassociation of the koshas, we talk about the body, the energies, that is the prana, and the mana, the mind, These are the three bodies that go out of kilter. So the physical body may be out of kilter, the energy body may be out of kilter, or the mind body may be out of kilter. You never talk about Vijnana and Anandamaya being out of kilter. They are more cosmic. So when we want to bring these pieces together, we have been broken into pieces, we have been blown into pieces, we have fragmented. Yes, we have fragmented into pieces. So what do you do with your computer? Defragment. When your computer gets fragmented, you defragment the computer. That is what you do to make it run properly. Your three koshas have become fragmented. Annamaya, Pranamaya and Manomaya. You need to bring them together. You need to defragment them. How do you defragment them? Physical movement done in synchronicity with the breathing done mindfully. And that is why practices like the Surya Prana Mudra, you are doing the movement. You are doing the breathing. You are mindful of it. There is a beautiful sense of gratitude. Gratitude is the highest attitude. And what is gratitude as an emotion connected with heart? So you are expressing your gratitude and you are opening up your heart so that these energies can be taken to heart. Such an amazing layer within layer of these practices. And it becomes a meditative practice. You introduce the mantras. You introduce the Gayatri mantra. It becomes a meditative practice. Because the Gayatri mantra given by Rishi Vishwamitra, it is said he taught it to Lord Rama. Vishwamitra gives us this. And what a beautiful Maha mantra. With all the Vyaharatis. Om Goho, Om Bhuvaha, Om Swaha, Om Maha, Om Janaha, Om Tapaha, Om Satyam, Om Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Apo Raso Amritam Om Bhurvuvasuvarum Om Apo Jyoti Raso Amritam Brahma Bhurvuvasuvarum is how the Shiras should be there. What you are doing is you are connecting. You are connecting all of this. You are connecting to something much deeper, much more expansive. And you realize you are not just that drop, but you are the ocean itself. You are not just that ray of light, you are the sun itself. You are not just the individual, you are the cosmos itself. And it's at that point you start to connect and you realize how expansive you are. And you stop feeling alone. You start feeling all one. You are not alone anymore. You don't feel lonely anymore. You are all one. And when you're all one, there's no duality. There's no Dvaita. It becomes Advaita. There is no dichotomy. There's oneness. And there's no fear. There's no stress. Now, when we do this practice, sometimes what Swamiji used to suggest is that when you do it, to blink the eyes, because blinking the eyes is a very good way to relax the eyes. And also when you blink, what you do is that the circulation of the eye area has to be enhanced. And so the solar energy coming into your eyes also will come in a much more dynamic way. So the blinking as a very important component. So as you are breathing, to blink at the sun, and then you are continuing that blinking going. A very beautiful add-on to this is the blinking part. And if the eyes are strained at the end, now this should be done for the rising sun up to about 15-20 degrees above the horizon, not more than that. But if the eyes have strained, Swamiji used to suggest that do some palming. You rub the palms together, generating a warm pranic poultice. Cup your palms, place them over the eyes, and you bring your elbow down to the ground in front of you. And this is a very beautiful way to relax the eyes, and you have that semi-darkness. And then when you're ready, coming back up, keeping the eyes closed, bringing the hands down, and just moving the head slightly to either side with the eyes closed. And then starting to blink and come back to the normal visual experience. This is an add-on to this practice. So by adding this on, you are also working with the eyes through which the sight is coming. And what is the sight based on? Manipura chakra. What is the Manipura chakra? Your solar energy panel connecting you to the solar system. Fine. So we close with that today. I wanted to express the Surya Prana Mudra. We had looked at it in one of my 108 sessions. But then many of you have joined later and many of you don't remember what session I did when. I also don't remember it. So I thought let's review some of this because it's worth going back. As Ammaji always tells us, remember to remember. And I think going back is so important to remember because you get those memory cells working and bring it from the unconscious, subconscious back into the consciousness. And every time you bring stuff from unconscious, subconscious to the consciousness, you can work with it in a much better way because hopefully you are further up the path. And so your perspective will be very different. I've had excellent response from people all over the world for the yoga step by step. We have quite an amazing cohort coming together. And this amazing cohort is going to begin its journey October 2nd, evening 6 o'clock Indian Standard Time. We will be having the inauguration by Ammaji, bringing in the 25 senior members of my Gitananda Yoga family who are going to be helping us out in this year-long venture. Every alternate Sunday, it would be the morning 6:30 session or 4:30 afternoon session. And 4 modules. Module 1 will start on October 4th. So the inaugural is October 2nd because every year on Gandhi Jayanti, we have started for the last 51 years our teachers training. And because of COVID, we have not been able to put it together for the ashram this year. So instead, my energies are going into the online teaching mode. And so we thought it would be apt to start on October 2nd, Gandhi Jayanti, on Friday in the evening. But the first official practical session, now when I say practical, we are going to go through each lesson. There are 8 or 10 pages, 2 hours, well, going through it, expressing it, giving people some hinters. And then I expect people to work at least 4 hours during the week. So I would expect a minimum of 4 hours per week, so about 300 hours in the year. Definitely 200 hours for sure you're going to have to work if you want to get it done. Anything less than 200 hours, you're not going to be able to complete the course satisfactorily. It's as simple as that. So we have quite a few people who have joined in, a nice cohort coming in from all over the world. It's interesting, all the countries that are going to be represented. It's going to be a good challenge. It's going to be a good growth. So do join me. And someone was asking about the previous sessions. Well, the easiest way to find them is go on to YouTube, where I have put them as a playlist. I shared that playlist yesterday also. 243 videos in that playlist of my sessions during COVID-19. So you can go and have a look there. And just is so wonderful to be able to share with so many of you. Thank you for being there with me so that I can share. Because if you are not there, with whom do I share? I have to only share with myself. So you give me an opportunity to share. So thank you for being you. And till we meet again, have a wonderful time. Be safe, be happy, be healthy, and maybe try to be a bit wise also. Dhanyavadaha. Namaste. Thank you.